Welcome to our third ruler work class. I'm Valerie from Westerville Sew and Save. Today we will focus on stitching straight lines to create a parabolic pattern. Here we are back at the drawing table. We prepared our 9-inch blocks during the first class. I have pressed this block twice with best press and the hot iron, and now we're ready to mark it for block 3. We needed to find the center of the block, and that would be at 4.5 inches because we have a 9-inch block. The best press creates a barrier so that when we're marking with the friction markers that it will come off easier and less chance of creating a shadow. Start at your 6, go to the corner, start at your 6, go to the corner. We have 1/2 done. Whoops, didn't turn that quite far enough. Line my lines up on the 6.5. 3 is right in the center. And we will finish marking our 6-inch line or block. We've got a 6-inch line around. We will be double stitching it when we get to the sewing machine. This will provide definition to our block and gives us our boundary for when we want to trim it at the end. We're here at the sewing machine, ready to get started on block number 3. We're going to do the same thing as we did in block number 1 and number 2, in that we're going to make that 2 rows of stitching all the way around the outside of this block. Keeping that 1/4 inch spacing from top to bottom. Second time around. Two lines left to go. Okay, so we're block 3, and again, we're going to use that first line, but just so you see what we're doing, we're going to have the, I'm going to use my stiletto here, so we'll have your ruler tight up against your ruler foot, tight up against the ruler. And this is a tight fit based on, because this is a 6-inch block and I have a 6-inch ruler. You can use any of the rulers that have that 1/2 inch on it. This is one that Susan just got into the shop, and I already own this one at home, and it is a nice one. So again, you've got that 1/2 inch there. It gives you the full length, and you can see it. So what we're doing is we're going to have a slightly angled row of stitching. This, because this is new and out of the package, it does not have the grippers on it. So I will show you how it works for this one row, and hopefully I won't slip. Okay, we'll stitch down here and we're going to stop right at our stitch line. So you can see here we went from touching to the one line. Twist our, again, we're going to have our ruler tight up against. This corner is right on top of the first line. Sorry, I put that second line. I am worried that because I used that ruler, did I? No, I got it right on. Sorry, I all of a sudden thought I had made the wrong, with that change in rulers, not a good idea. Ruler's tight against your ruler foot. That number one, that first white line is right on top of that corner. I just love the results of stitching like this. I have done octagons, I have done different size squares. I did it in a little 4-inch square in the corner of one of my big quilts. So I did it as the cornerstones. So we're stopping on the stitched line, not going right to this other, to the border. So we're rulers touching up to the ruler foot. First line is on top of. And we just keep going around and around and around. You can see how it's coming together here. Oops, there goes my stick here. I'm going to take that tape off so I can see. So Steady sells some little sticky arrows that work pretty well too. I have not purchased them because I had some of the tape already in my sewing box. So I've just been using it to date, but I'm looking forward to picking some of those up at some point in the real near future. The beauty with the arrows are they have the arrow, and they come in multiple colors. So if you're using different lines for different parts of the project, you can change the color up. And once you get started at this, the rhythm just keeps going. You don't even think about it. I'm just putting the ruler up to the ruler foot. That first line goes right on that box where I'm going to start to sew to. And you get in your zone and off you go. Very, very relaxing. Put on some good music and have some fun. Again, it's a great pattern to stitch in those smaller projects. If you start it with a bigger square, you are going to do exactly the same. Make it whatever size you like. Put those rows of stitching tight together. It looks like string art. Just beautiful. So you could take a piece of flat fabric and make string art as your design. The closer you stitch together, the more you're going to pull your fabric to the center. But as long as you have a little bit of extra like what we've planned on here, you're good. You can cut it off, or you'll trim it and square it up at your end and bind it. I'm looking forward to trying this same method in a heart-shaped. I see the pattern. I am excited to try it. You can do triangles. Start with a triangle. Possibilities are endless. On Sew Steady University, there is a class posted with doing a whole quilt, just this parabolics. And I would like to try that class as well. We're getting down here, but same method, corner, corner, and then your white line is right on top of that. Row of stitching. we're going to come across to this line. We're intersecting right there. We're getting down. So now we're going to go into that corner. So I can't make that row of stitching, so I'm going to want that line to come in, and I want it to join right into that corner. I want it to look like I intentionally placed it there. Ruler's tight. Want the edge of the gauge right so that my stitching ends right in that corner. I always second guess myself, and we're right on there, so let's there we have it. You put your needle back down in exactly that where your last stitch was to bring up that bobbin thread. I feel like I make this look really more difficult than it is. I'm going to blame it on having the camera because I am not used to the camera, but there we are. We have got their bobbin thread up there with those little snips. We have 2 sets of threads to bury. Okay, here we are for block 3 to bury the threads, hoping this is a better view for you. You take your thread, make a knot, any way you typically make a knot is fine. I like to do it that way. Use the self-threading needle, get those threads through there. You're going to tip back into exactly where you just popped your last stitch in. You want to feed your needle through the 2 layers, hopefully into the quilt batting. You want to take a quick peek, make sure you didn't get through to the back. And there, you hear that knot pop underneath, and it's totally buried. I had already buried the center one there before. Again, wrapping up block 3. Hope you enjoyed working on this block together, and we will look forward to seeing you again when we get together and put the 3 blocks together in a quilt as you go method. Take care.